4 seasons lost. And in Austin, I stalled and paused. My eyes crawled to a table. Paralyzed by pairwise dice, then in his tears to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in his skin. Roll dice and woes of life, love deprived, giving her vibe. What's the meaning of life? One subjected paradise, crystal chandeliers, moments reflected. Often mirrors a pit, click, ready for ear to ear. Cranking the rain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near, stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, in paradise, we know I've heard this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark, and of course, we're coming. This is Tuesday, so you know we're at George's Happy Hog, and you can see that's my stuff back there, my to-go. That is my hot links, my ribs, my sauce, my greens, and my mac and cheese, along with cornbread and wheat bread. So that's kind of like my choice. And of course, as always, my watermelon sweet tea. Love that stuff. It's delicious. Delicious, delicious, delicious. Anyway, I want to thank everybody. Hoping everybody's having a good day. Hoping everybody's staying cool. It's so freaking hot out there right now. You know, but this is summertime's coming, and this is Oklahoma. And so what else do you really expect it to be? You know, like I said, you know, I was talking to somebody and they were telling me how they'd rather be cold than hot. No, I'd rather be hot than cold anytime. I'd rather be sweating and trying to cool off than freezing my butt off trying to warm up. I don't like being cold. I'd rather sweat and be hot than I would be cold. I'm sorry, that's just me. Some of you all might be different, but I do prefer it that way. So anyway, we missed yesterday, and so I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Matt Fitzpatrick on his U.S. Open win this weekend. And which is what I thought was funny, is that here's a picture of him. Of course, he won the U.S. Amateur, and he won the U.S. Open. Ironically, he won it on the same golf course. And the only other person to do that was Jack Nicklaus. So I thought that was kind of cool. And considering how far he's come to make himself a better player. And, you know, and that's the thing about the PGA Tour. It has always got some room for people to get better. And, you know, they're sitting there talking about the LIV Tour. This is what's funny. Charles Schwartzel took home $4.75 million for winning the first event in London. The total payout for this is $17.5 million. Here's what the top 10 is worth: $3.15 million, which is what he got. Then, of course, second was 1.8. Third is 1.23. Each player will get $10,000, okay, for 2 days of work. That's if you didn't make the cut, you got $10,000. And then the player who finishes sixth of this takes home $36,852. And why am I bringing this up? Because Brooke Koepka is reportedly changing over to the LIV Tour. And which is, I mean, it's him. You know, Bryson's over there, so why wouldn't he come over there? You know, they're both of them are not. I mean, Brooks Koepka hadn't won, and he started out, I'm going to win majors, I'm going to be this, I'm going to win that. After he won his 2 in a row, he hadn't done anything. He won back-to-back, and he won a PGA, of course. Talking about, he stared down Tiger. No, you were behind Tiger. We saw what happens if Tiger's behind you. You choked. Remember? We remember. 2019, remember? When you were in Augusta? Remember when you missed putt, you hit it in the water on 12? So let's not talk about how great you were. Brooks Koepka hadn't done anything, and I think that the writing is on the wall. I think golf is tougher than it's ever been. Like in Jack's day, there was only a few guys. In Tiger's day, There was several guys, but today there's, there's so many good players. And Brooks, your brother's over there making more money than you, but of course his brother got money because guess what? He was expected to bring you. So now you're over there with Bryson. Woo, nobody cares. Nobody cares that you're over there. Nobody cares what you're doing. Bye, go away. Go away. I mean, and the rest of you all who can't win on the tour, go away. Go get your payday. Lose all your sponsorships. Get rid of all your stuff because you're going over there for the money. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have zero problem with anybody going to get their money. Go get paid. But say that's what it is. That is not golf. Shotgun start, that's golf. Playing for 3 days. 8 tournaments. If that's what you want to call them that. They're not even tournaments. Shotgun start is set up for scrambles. They aren't set up for you to go out and you play and you hit the ball and you play against the best players in the world. If you can't compete, which clearly all of these guys know they can't compete. So go get the money now where the money's hot because they know it's not going to last. And remember, this is a 4-year commitment for you to do this for 4 years. They're paying you guaranteed this money for 4 years. And then your hope is once it's over, it's going to be over, you can come back to the PGA Tour. If I was PGA Tour, I was like, now you got your money back. Better hope it does good. Better go be a golf pro somewhere because you're not coming back on the tour. I think it sucks. And I love how the USGA is going to be, they say, oh, you guys get to play this year, but that don't mean you come back and play next year. And I hope the majors go, yep, you're out. And the only one I know that probably won't is the Masters simply because I don't think that the Masters, they've got too many board members and too many people making a bunch of money off China and off Saudi Arabia to rock that boat. I don't, because in America, it's the land of capitalism, and the world is about making money, and those that are ultra rich, that's what they do. They're about the money, and they don't care about you or me or anything else. They care about making money, and that's what they do. No problem with that. That being said, let's move on to Deshaun Watson. The breaking news is Deshaun settled 20 of his 24 lawsuits have been filed or settled, civil lawsuits. Remember, there's no criminal charges against him whatsoever. And the first girl who started this whole thing, who was on HBO, which I still to this day, I'm not a fan when you have a 15-minute segment and 12 minutes shows one side of it and 3 minutes shows the other. How fair is that? I mean, that's biased reporting. And I think that's beneath Brian Gumbel and the people in Real Sports for you to do that. Deshaun Watson, you're trying him in the court of public opinion. That's what you're doing. Now, to me, there's got to be smoke there. I mean, usually if there's smoke, there's fire. But if you've gone to 2 grand juries and both of them decline to file criminal charges, then what is that saying? That's all I can go by. The guy got cleared, but civil lawsuit's a total different thing than criminal. 2 totally different things. And this girl, she's the one from one first that started. She's refused the money. She wants to go ahead and go to court, which is fine. If you go to court, you're still just going to win money. I mean, that's basically what you're doing. I mean, you're trying to get him convicted of civil, which doesn't mean he doesn't do it. That doesn't affect criminal at all. All they're saying is you're going to get money. That's all that's saying is you're going to get money. You've got offered this amount of money. Now, what does that mean to her? Clearly, it's not about the money, but it is because, if you win the civil case, okay, you won the civil case. You won the case. So you're saying that validates what you're doing, that validates, to me, if he assaulted you, he should go to jail. That's how I feel about it. He should go to jail for what he did, if that's what happened. But clearly only you and him know what happened. And I feel sorry for this woman. I feel sorry for Deshaun. I wasn't there, and neither were you. None of you people were in the situation. None of you people were there but him and her. I can have my opinion. You can have your opinion. Everybody has their opinion. It is what it is. I am not a fan of hurting women, putting your hands on women, doing anything that would hurt them or send them in any kind of bad situation. I am not a fan of that under any time, under any way, period. I'm not a fan of that. And I don't like being around people who put their hands on women. I don't like that. And maybe it's because I have 6 sisters. I was raised and I love my mom, and I guess that has a lot to do with it. But the bottom line is 20 of the 24 women got their money and they're ready to move on. The other 4, I guess, are now just decided they're going to go to court or they want more money, whatever. Who knows what's going in there, but I feel sorry for him and I feel sorry for the victims because to me, if you're not going to go to jail and then civilly all you're doing is going after money. That's what you're doing. You're going after money. So take the money and move on because that's all that's going to happen. I mean, yes, you can say I won the case, which proves I was right. No, that does not prove you're right. What that proves is you won that in that particular deal, but he's not going to jail. If you really, truly wanted something, you would send him to jail. That would be your ultimate goal, to get revenge on this man, to see him go to jail. To me, that's what that would be. If it was the other way around, I'd want her to go to jail if that happened to me. Money is not the issue, and if it is, clearly for most of those women it was, and for 20 of them, they took the cash and bounced, which I have no problem with that either. If that's what you wanted, then kudos to you. Take your money and move on. Now, Baker Mayfield. I'm so tired of talking about Baker Mayfield and the same thing over and 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 over. Baker, I don't know what the Browns are doing. I don't know what they're doing. Just pay the man. Are you just going to hold out and leave this guy hanging? You got to pay him the $18 million. But they're clearly going to hold out till they can get something for him. And it looks like the Panthers are ready to make a deal. To me, they've already got a quarterback on staff there in Sam Darnold. I mean, what are you going to do? Clearly he wasn't the one to get it done. I just feel sorry for Baker now. And you guys know me, I'm not really that big of a Baker fan. But I feel sorry for the guy. I mean, he wants to be a quarterback in the NFL. He deserves to be a quarterback in the NFL. He is definitely one of the top 15 quarterbacks. He's way better than the other 17, whatever there is in the league, 32, whatever. He's way better than most of those guys, without question. But the Browns are holding him back, and they're holding him hostage. And for whatever happened between them, it has gotten to the point now where, it's ugly. It is really, truly ugly what they're doing to this man. But it is a business, and it is what it is, and it is the NFL. And they are known to be they're dictators is what they are. They are the biggest show. They dictate what's going to happen, and they hold you back, and they hold you hostage. That's what the NFL does. That being said, I want to tell everybody, hey, this is where I'm at. I'm at George's Happy Hog, 712 Culbertson Drive, just east of Lincoln, right in front of the Capitol. Here's all the things that they offer. Of course, I pretty much get the same thing, my hot links, and then I either choose between chicken, smoked bologna, which they're smoked bologna rivals, Jamil's, and if you've ever ate Jamil's, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But once again, the place was just packed earlier when I first got here at 1 o'clock to set everything up and to get my food. You couldn't basically move or walk anywhere in this place. And then two, of course, of our sponsors were here today, and I want to give a shout out to Collaborative Logic. They were here. Russell was in here earlier. He and Mark at SRB both were in here having lunch early today. And, of course, want to shout out to both of those guys. And, of course, Oak Grove Trucking My guy Jose Fierro and his dump trucks. Used to be dump truck, now it's dump trucks. And my guys Greg and Max Nafee. So anyway, I want to give a shout out to all those guys. And then of course, YNB, family owned and operated since 1912. The bank that makes things happen. You can reach them at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com if you want to pre-qualify for any loans. They are the people to go see. Great group of guys. And I say go ahead and handle your business and go to the bank that makes things happen. Of course, that is YNB. And I want to thank them because what they're basically doing is they are sponsoring all of our remotes to support minority and black-owned businesses around the city. And, of course, every Tuesday we're pretty much here at Georgia's Happy Hog. On Fridays, you know where we are in the barbershop, and those guys, they crack me up. They're really hilarious. Great group of guys over there. Of course, that's Keith, Lee, Sean, and I like all those guys over there. They are hilarious, and those are my guys. And of course, you got to go in and get that touch up every Friday in there. And of course, our boy Chris, he's just a handful. Mr. LeBron, he is the head of the LeBron fan club wagon. Okay, so now let's move on to the Cowboys. What do you think the chances are, 1 out of 10, that Mike McCarthy will lead the Cowboys to a Super Bowl win, the Super Bowl trophy, the Vince Lombardi trophy? I'll say the chances are a 2. I'm going to give him some sort of chance because anything can happen. I mean, anything can happen. I'm going to give him a 2. He's not the guy. And then he talks about Sean Payton. No, Jerry, we're friends. We all know that you're not going to hire Sean Payton because if you do, you know the other 2 guys that you hired, you couldn't give up control. They have to have control. And as winning seasons you had, both those guys were control freaks and ran the show, and you did not like it. Jerry is the ultimate control person. He wants to be in control. He wants to talk to the team first. He wants to do this first. He wants to do that first. Can't do it that way. But it is his team. They are the richest franchise or the most valuable franchise in all of sports. And Jerry does whatever he wants to do. And then, what's so funny is Colin Cowherd the other day was talking about how trying to promote the Los Angeles Rams as America's team. I'm like, what are you talking about? He is so pro LA, it's ridiculous. We have the best. Now, LA is beautiful. I love LA. I do. And yes, the Dodgers won the championship. The Lakers won the championship 2 years ago. And, of course, the Rams won the championship. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to give you that. But America's team is Dallas Cowboys. Always going to be the Dallas Cowboys. Rams, you were the L.A. Rams. Then you went to St. Louis, and you were St. Louis Rams. And then you came back to L.A. and to be the L.A. Rams again. You're all over the place. So how can you be America's team? Now, Stan Kroenke is ridiculously wealthy. He did win a championship. And now it looks like his Avalanche are going to win the NHL championship. So I'm going to have to check it out and find out how many owners have won professional championships in multiple sports in the same year, whether that's football and hockey, whether that's basketball and hockey, whether that's basketball and baseball, whatever it is. I'm going to have to look that up. And that'll be a nice trivia question for somebody to either drop in my comments or text me or just give me a shout tomorrow. Now, remember, coming July, we will be having phone lines where people can call in. We will have a number for people to call in. If you have questions, you can pop up, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions or engage in whatever topics that you want to discuss on the Unpopular Hour. So I'm excited about that, but Jerry, he's just delusional. The Cowboys are not going to win with Mike McCarthy as the head coach. And they said Zeke is going to be the best running back. That's what Dak says in the NFL this year. I do not see that happening, and I don't think any of you all see that happening. I mean, you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. You could be unrealistic all you want to, but the chances of that happening are slim and none for that happening. And I like Zeke, but let's face it, ever since he's gotten paid, he hasn't done anything since. He hasn't done anything since he got paid. Zeke has just absolutely done nothing since he got paid. So I'm not necessarily a fan of his, and I don't think that a lot of people are a fan of his. I just don't see him. I really don't. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. I don't. Now, let's promote something which I'm excited about, and we were discussing this yesterday, which I really am, and this is that soccer in 2026, the real football, if you will, is coming to the Americas, and I'm so excited about it. The question is, where are you going to want to watch it? Do you want to watch it in Seattle? Do you want to watch it in San Francisco? Do you want to watch it in L.A.? Do you want to watch it in New York, New Jersey, or Miami? Do you want to watch it in Kansas City, Dallas, Houston, or Atlanta? Now, I already know I want to go to Houston is where I want to go, and I was talking to my boy Nick Jackson at Santa Fe Family Life Center, who's a huge soccer fan. And in fact, when is it, December or November, when the USA plays England, we are going to be there watching it. And, of course, I will have my USA jersey on, cheering against England, and I'm sure he will have his English jersey on, and we're going to bust that. You know what? I can't say that word. I'm trying to be good about not cursing on the air. So, but anyway, that's going to be a great view for people to go. Venues, you've got everything. You want to go out west, you find a trip to go out to SoFi, to L.A., hey, there's a trip for that. If you want to find a reason to go to San Francisco, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. If you want to go to Seattle, which, yeah, I don't really want to be rained on, but if you want to go to Seattle, you can do that. Or if you want to go to Kansas City, Dallas, Houston, or Atlanta, I like all of those places. So I'm really excited about that and seeing what's going to happen with how many teams are actually going to show up in that. So I'm excited about soccer coming to the United States in 2026, the World Cup. That's going to be cool. I'm so excited about that. So excited about that. I'm pumped up. I cannot wait for that. And then, of course, I just flashed the screen on the Thunder. Remember, Thursday is the draft, and so we'll be talking about the Thunder and what they need to do. Now, college baseball, remember, OU plays tomorrow, okay, in the College World Series. They play tomorrow, and here is the bracket. OU plays tomorrow. Now, the game going on now between Notre Dame and Texas A&M. Texas A&M is up 3-0 in the bottom of the fourth. So, of course, OU beat both of those teams. That beat Texas A&M on the opening game, beat Notre Dame the next game. Those two are playing against each other again to see who will face OU tomorrow at 1 p.m. on ESPN. And that being said, I want to give a shout-out to Peyton Graham of the OU Sooners. First player since Barry Bonds in 1984 to have 4 hits with 2 steals. And, of course, Barry Bonds was, you know who he did against? He was at Arizona State, and he did it against my Cowboys in 84. And, boy, we had a squad, but, of course, they had a Hall of Famer on their side of the field, and he lit us up. Unlike Peyton, who Barry only had to slide once. The other steal he went in the third standing up, and Peyton had to slide in both of his. Now, that being said, on the other side of the bracket, Arkansas and Auburn are playing this evening, and the winner of that will play against Ole Miss. And, of course, Ole Miss handled Auburn, and then Ole Miss handled Arkansas. So those two will play against each other. Arkansas and Auburn will play against each other to see who will play Ole Miss tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. So if you guys aren't doing anything, I hope you get a chance to go out and watch the OU and give them some love because, like I said, tomorrow at 1 p.m., OU will be playing A&M or Notre Dame. And right now, A&M is winning, so I'm assuming if things stay the way that they are, that A&M will go ahead and win. And right now, like I said, they're up 3-0 in the bottom of the third. So just going to keep an eye on that as we go through our day and see what happens with that. But anyway, congratulations again to Peyton Graham for being the first player since Barry Bonds to have 4 hits and 2 steals in a game. And like I said, Barry did it against us, and we had a really, really good team, but Barry is just Barry, and he was a beast. And all of you can have your opinion on whether he should be in the Hall of Fame. I think he should. I think it's a travesty that he is not in the Hall of Fame. I think, the guy was a Hall of Famer before, and my problem with being convicted in the court of public opinion, Barry, if people remember, he's never been charged. All it is saying that he went from this side to this side. So there's evidence that his head got bigger than it has to be with this. But he's never been charged. No one's came out and said, hey, I saw Barry Bonds taking roids. I gave Barry Bonds roids. None of that's happened, unlike Roger Clemens. None of that's happened with Barry Bonds. But because of his head and his feet, whatever it was, he's being convicted in the court of public opinion, even though he did nothing or has been proven. It has not been proven or charged anything. People are just holding it against him, saying, no, you're not going in. And it's a joke because everybody was doing steroids during that time. But Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before that. Steroids don't make you hit the ball. Now, it makes you hit it farther if you can hit it. But steroids does not make you all of a sudden turn you into a great hitter. It just allows you, when you make contact, you're going to hit more home runs. Clearly, that's what he did. That's why he is the home run leader. Now, Pete Rose is on the other side of that. Everything about Pete Rose is in the Hall of Fame, but it's bust. That's it. Uniforms, bats, cleats, all the other stuff's in the Hall of Fame, but that. And I think it's Pete Rose, he bet on baseball, and I think that's the golden rule. Don't do that, and he did it. And then instead of being contrite about it, he just, deny. And so that's why he's going to be held out. Instead of just going, yeah, I did it, I screwed up, I'm sorry, apologize. People want to see you humble. People want you to apologize. Admit what you did, apologize, move on. People will give you more love, and they will give you a little bit more respect. And had he done that early, Pete Rose would be in the Hall of Fame. I do believe that. But once he didn't do that, he sealed his own fate. And these athletes do that all the time. The first thing they say is, oh, I never cheated, I never did this. Yes, you did. Just admit it, move on. But, my problem with Barry Bonds, like I said, is no one's come out and accused him. There has never been any evidence saying that somebody saw him take steroids, whatever. But yes, when you look at him physically, he's changed, no question. But that doesn't mean that you have the right, if this man, there's no basis other than you just saying blah, 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 and did it. But then on the other side of that, Barry wasn't well liked in the sport, again, in media. Wasn't liked. If the media doesn't like you, you're in trouble. And that's a fact. If the media does not like you, you are in trouble. So I feel sorry with Barry when it comes to that. But on the other side of that, he made his own bed, and now he has to lie in it. That being said, I want to let everybody know where I'm at today. And I am at Georgia's Happy Hog at 712 Culbertson Drive. And, man, I'm telling you what, it was packed in here earlier with a bunch of people getting barbecue. And of course, like I said, I saw my guys, Mark and Russell, both were in here getting their grub on. And I said, man, look at you guys. And, of course, they didn't have time to eat with me. They were too busy. And then, of course, both of them had to leave because they both had meetings this afternoon. But, hey, if you've never been to Georgia, you need to come through here. I mean, I tell you what, if you like greens, their greens are delicious, along with the mac and cheese and all their other fixings that they have. So, anyway, Georgia's Happy Hog, 712 Culbertson Drive, just south of the state capitol off of Lincoln, east of Lincoln. You can only go east because if you try to go west, you run into the Harn Homestead. So you can't do that. And then, of course, it is directly north of the OU Medical Center. And I want to thank YNB, family owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. And I want to thank them for their support of minority and black-owned businesses and supporting us by allowing us to helping us or sponsoring us to go out to all of these venues to these minority and black-owned businesses. And if you want to pre-qualify online for any loans, you can do that at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. If you want to pre-qualify for any loans, they are the people to do that. And then also, if you want to watch any of our past episodes, you're more than welcome to go to www.mcsportsnetwork.com. That's www.mcsportsnetwork.com. And you can get and watch any of our shows on that. You just click on the website, and then when you pop up, it has the Unpopular Hour Women Only Wednesday, and After the Storm. And, of course, After the Storm is our Thunder preview show. So if you want to watch any of those, you can go back and you review and see all the past episodes. So it's fantastic, and I highly recommend you do that. But if you know how to use YouTube, the preference is for you to go to YouTube, subscribe, like, and hit notifications. And every time we do a show, that it will pop up and let you know that the MC Sports Network or the Unpopular Hour, whichever one that you subscribe to, is starting live. So appreciate everybody that has been going to that and signing up and subscribing and liking us. I appreciate you guys doing that for us. It's quite an honor, and I'm very, very thankful and very grateful that you guys are coming out and supporting what we're doing here at the Unpopular Hour. And, of course, with me, Matt Clark, and then my boy Drew Henthorn. Now, speaking of Drew, he's getting his home inspection today, but he sent me his picks. Remember, if you want to look at any of your stuff, it's HuskerDrewPicks.com. That's HuskerDrewPicks.com if you want to go and look at his record. He's been just on fire. Of course, he's got his Braves in there for the money line at -185. The Dodgers on money line at -175. He's got the Rangers and Phillies, the over 8, which I think that for sure will probably happen. Then, of course, he's taking Arkansas -148, and then, of course, Texas A&M right now is winning 3-0. Let me see, let me check that and make sure that A&M is still winning. They're winning 4-0 in the top of the 5th. That's 4-0. A&M is up. So he's got A&M plus money line and 105. But A&M is winning right now. So that looks like a very good bet that he took A&M because they are smashing Notre Dame right now as we speak. So good call by Drew on those. Like I said, go to www.huskerdrewpicks.com. That's www.huskerdrewpicks.com. And you can go and get any of his picks. Look them up. And if you were betting with him or, using his picks for the NBA season, you cleaned up. You absolutely cleaned up. I think he was more than double wins, picks to losses. I think it was, I want to say he ended up 56 and 28, something ridiculous like that, or 58 and 8 and 28 or something like that. It was insane, how on point he was this year with the NBA. So, like I said, HuskerDrewPicks.com. If you want to, if you're a gambling man, I'm not a gambling man, but a lot of you are, and I have a lot of friends who do go out and they do gamble. So if you're one of those people and you want to do that, please, by all means, go to HuskerDrewPicks.com and go after that, because Drew will hook you up with his picks. And like I said, he has been on fire. Now, we want to get into basketball. Of course, you all know that's my favorite, along with my watermelon sweet tea. That's good stuff. Anyway, Charles Barkley was talking about how the old heads. I'm an old head. Talking about how they don't have respect for KD because he wasn't driving the he's not driving the bus. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you think he did in Golden State? I mean, Steph clearly drove the bus in their first championship. Then they lost to Cleveland. Then they had to go get KD because they knew they were not going to beat LeBron and Kyrie without KD. Wasn't going to happen. So pretty sure KD drove that bus because he was the best player on that team, even though they did have Steph. And that's why I have a problem. Like, Steph has these accolades or something, but how the hell do you put Steph Curry better than Kevin Durant? That's BS. How is he in the top 10? I mean, I hate these media-driven stuff about winning. Oh, he won this championship. He's got 4. He belongs in the Hall. He's not better than Kevin Durant. You're wasted. How do you even say that? Kevin Durant went to his team, and Kevin Durant was the best player on that team. Kevin Durant drove that bus. Steph drove it for the first championship, the first loss. KD drove it for the middle two, and then Steph drove it for this last one. So I'm sorry, but these flies are just driving me insane because I've got this food over here by me, and they're just flying crazily. And you know how flies are. Once they realize they are bugging you, then they go overboard to bug you even more. So it's just driving me absolutely insane right now dealing with these flies. But anyway, Charles, you're wrong. KD drove that bus for Golden State twice. And had Draymond not kicked him out, because I still believe to this day Draymond got mad because Draymond was gone. It was the big three. KD comes in. Nobody talked about Draymond anymore. It was KD, Steph, and Clay. There was no Draymond mentioned anywhere. And Draymond's ego got in the way, pissed off KD. KD left, and Draymond came back. Now, Draymond ain't drove no bus, but on the other side of that, when Steve Kerr set him, what was it, in game 4, I believe, in the last few minutes, or in the 7 minutes going to fourth quarter, Draymond had never happened to him before. But it was a great move, one, because Looney was the right pick for that, because they were just killing him on the boards. Robert Williams was killing him. So they had to have somebody in there to counter that. And Looney was the right deal. And then you put Draymond back in the game to finish it. And then, of course, Draymond was a completely different player in Game 5 and in Game 6. So he wasn't talking to referees. All that ego stuff that he had, that went out the window. And it should have. His antics could have cost him another championship, because remember, they lost the second championship when they had the best record ever because of his idiotic kicking people in the balls and doing dirty stuff that he does. And to me, I just don't know how people reward that behavior like the way that they do. I don't agree with that at all. You don't reward that kind of behavior. But KD drove the bus, and for Charles to say that, that's just idiotic. And then these people are talking about how Golden State Warriors have bought the championship. Yeah, they paid $340 million total this year for their team. The reason why I say that is because they paid for the deal and then the luxury tax, because the luxury tax is 1.5 times. So they paid $340 million. Now, the problem next year is you have Looney to pay, you've got Wiggins to pay, you've got Poole to play, you got Otto Porter and Gary Payton II. Now, Wiggins, you got to keep Wiggins. Okay, Otto Porter's a nice fix. He's not that much money. Gary Payton II will get paid, but, it's not like that's a big deal. But, Wiggins is going to deserve the max because you don't win without him for sure. Clay, is already paying him, and you're already paying Steph, and then Draymond, you're paying him. So that's 4 guys you got to pay. Now, Looney, I think that you can go ahead because you got Weissman behind him, because the Warriors drafted really, really well. Because you got Weissman, you got Moody, you got guys behind him. They are set up. Their draft class, what they've had, and they put up, those people are sitting there waiting in the wings, which is exactly what Oklahoma City, I hope, will do with the draft picks that we have. You're set up by the 4 that you had last year, and Josh Giddey and Trey Mann, Wiggins, and Robinson Earl. You've got 2 this year. And like we talked about, that now Orlando is trying to figure out who they want because Jabari said, I want to go to Oklahoma City. I'm like, please, Jabari, come to Oklahoma City. Boy, we get Jabari with what we got. And then if you can, package your 12th pick with maybe another first-round pick, because I think we have 4 or 5 next year. So then you package that with another first-rounder next year. So you say, okay, we're giving you our 12th pick and our first-round pick next year, one of our first-round picks next year to move up. And if we can get Sharp, or I don't think we'll be able to move up and get Jade Ivey. I don't think we're going to be able to get him. But if we can move up and get us a shooter, and then you get Jabari, and you get a shooter, and then 34, you get find you another shooter somewhere in college, because there's a bunch of them, and find you a good shooter that way. Then you're set. Okay? That way you have SGA, Giddey, Dort, Mann, Wiggins, Robinson Earl, Jabari, hopefully Sharp or Johnny Davis, one of them, and then your 34th pick. And remember, you still got Baisley and Poku if you want to have them come in and rotate in, because people are going to get hurt. You need to sub them in. So those guys will be in the rotational type players at the end of the bench, hopefully sending them somewhere else. Because like I told you with Poku, my problem with him is our style of play does not fit what kind of game he is. And I've watched him play. He needs an up and down. He flows better when he's doing coast to coast, where he can snatch a rebound and take off and go down court. And if you ever watch SGA, when he gets the ball, SGA don't even run down court. He don't even run down court. He just flies by him. He just watches him, just, go, okay, well, he's going to shoot it. He don't even go down court because he's gone. He needs a play on a team that's full court, where they're going full court. They have a fast break, a up-tempo type team. That's not us. We slow the ball down. We're half-court offense. That's what we do, because nobody can stay in front of SGA. And then you've got Giddey attacking. Both of them are downhill players. They want to attack the basket. They want to kick it out to shooters. Problem, we don't have shooters. One of the worst teams in the league in shooting. So what we got to fix, we got to have a rim protector, and you got to have a shooter. You got to have a shooter. So those are things we need. Our 3-and-D guys, Robinson Earl tries to play some center. He's just not big and physical and strong enough. And then Wiggins is a nice defender out on the wing. So we get you another defender out on the wing. Him and Dort can turn into a really good combo as far as defensively, because when you look at Golden State, when they have Draymond and Wiggins, with those two, they put it on you. It's hard to do something. So you got to have a lockdown defender who can also score. Hopefully that's what Wiggins is going to turn into, because he showed flashes of that. So boom, you put those in there. You've got a good 9. And remember, the over and under last year was 17 games. I said that we would win 27 to 28. We ended up winning 24. And had we not set Giddey, and had we not set SGA, had them not set for those many games that got hurt, we would have won 28, 29, 30 games. I sincerely believe that. And been a chance for a playoff team. So, you add that. And then so next year, you're going to be a little better. Then that next year, because then you got 5 picks next year. So then that next year, these guys will be played together for 2 to 3 years. You're going to have a boy. Because like I said, the difference with the Thunder before is when we first got here, when he first drafted, he went, okay, let me go over here, and I've got that for you. And I'm going to show you what exactly I was talking about, because when you look at the Thunder's draft picks, okay, let me find it. When you look at the Thunder's draft picks, where is it? I need to get rid of some of these things I got in here. But when you look at the Thunder draft picks and what we have, anyway, I know I can know about Harden. I don't really need to pop it up there. You went Kevin Durant. You went, and like I told you the other day, I have a friend, and he just cracks me up because he was like, well, I don't give Sam Presti, I don't give him that first one. I was like, how do you not give him Kevin Durant? And he goes, well, the reason why I don't give him Kevin Durant is because Kevin Durant was already going to be, he had no choice. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, if we had the first round, which remember were the Seahawks, the Supersonics, Greg Odom was going to be the number 1 pick. So if they'd have won that, they would have been a number 1 pick. So he would have taken Greg Odom, not Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant fell into his lap. So he doesn't give him that. I think it's BS. I'm giving Sam Presti the credit for Kevin Durant. Then you got Jeff Green in 2007. Then 2008, you got Russell and Ibaka. Then you came with James Harden in 2009. So look at what you had when you had opportunities to get lottery picks. Look at what you got. You got Kevin Durant, Westbrook, Harden. Because your top 5 draft picks should be guys who are not projects. You know they're going to come in and they're going to compete and they're going to help right away. And Chet, that ain't him. I don't know what people see, but when all you got to do is go look at his record against top player NBA talent. Look at what his record is. Look at his production against NBA players who are ready to play in the league. Go look at it. Go look at his numbers. You don't have to take my word for it. Go look at them. And I can promise you, you'll go, wow, yeah, we don't need to draft him. But like at the barbershop, okay, an update, Texas A&M is up 5-0 in the top of the 5th. But the guys at the barbershop all go, well, you know, Poku is a Sam Presti type player, Oklahoma City Thunder type player. I was like, what the hell does that mean? You know, I knew what he was saying, but I'm not going to say it. But I knew what they were talking about. But I disagree with that. I think Sam Presti wants to win, kind of like when we first got started. To come to Oklahoma City, you had to have a winner. And people talk about the best crowd in the NBA. When we were rolling, that was Oklahoma City. The Thunderdome was rocking up in that place. It was rocking. And if y'all were there, if any of you went to those games, you'll know what I'm talking about. We had the loudest stadium. It was crazy. People were insane. It can be that way again. But Sam Presti has to make the right decision, and I believe that if Jabari said he wants to come here, there's no question who we're taking. I told the guys at the barbershop that, and we'll talk about that on Friday because Thursday's the draft. But you got to take Jabari Smith, especially if he wants to come. And he's basically said, I want to go to Oklahoma City. So what does Orlando do now? Because you don't want to draft somebody who doesn't want to be at your city. If a guy's telling you he don't want to be there, why would you draft him? So my shout-out goes to Jabari because he looks at our team. He looks at SGA. He looks at Giddey. They play downhill. He's an excellent three-point. He's a very good three-point shooter. He's also big. He can protect the paint, and he's got some body on him, a little muscle on him. He's not going to be pushed around inside the paint. He's athletic enough to guard the pick and roll. He can get back and get to the rim, rebound, which is one of our problems was rebounding. He can get you some boards, kick it back out, and start the fast break, and he also has handles. Not the same handles as Banchero, who is way more athletic, I think, than him. He can do more things and is way more skilled, but I don't think he's as ready as Jabari. And on the other side of Jabari is young, and he's played in the SEC. So that is my pick. That's who I would want. And I want to thank him for, he basically has told Presti that I want to come to Oklahoma City. So now it's up to Presti to make that happen. Hey, Orlando, they're weighing their options. Yeah, you're weighing your options because you don't want to go play there. So the natural thing would be for somehow or another the Thunder and them just to swap picks or whatever. If Orlando wants whomever, they draft Jabari 1, we take number 2, we flip picks or whatever. But just go ahead and, Orlando, take who you want, give us Jabari, and then, hopefully Sam Presti can cut a deal and we can move up and get, like I said, Jaden Ivey will not be there, but if we can get, Davis, or we could get Sharp, we can get us a shooter up there in the 5, 6, 7 range, if we can move up, that would be fantastic to go get one of those guys. That would be awesome if we could get that done, and then Oklahoma City would be off and running once again. And like I said, next year we would be good, but that next year 2, boy, I'm going to tell you, and then we got 5 picks next year, so that next year, after this year we'd be rolling. The next year we'd have 5 picks, so then you got, probably 2 guys that you could probably get out of that draft, trade off your other picks or get some other guys, and you do like what Golden State does. They've got guys who are sitting there in the background who can't get on the court, but what are they getting? More and more time, getting more and more physical, getting more and more, just bringing them along slowly. Oklahoma City can do the same thing. Draft really, really well. Keep drafting these guys who are NBA ready. And then as these guys get older and they start getting a little bit, then all of a sudden you're bringing these young guys up, and then what do? Now, I don't believe that we're going to be able to pay a $500 million payroll, which is if Golden State keeps everybody. That is just insane to me. They'll be paying $500 million if they want to keep everybody and keep this team intact next year. $500 million. They paid $340 this year, but it paid off and they won them a championship. So, you're talking guys who are multi-billionaires. They're making a lot of money out there in the Chase Center. So I'm not feeling sorry for them. They have the $340 million to spend, which I think is about what they paid for the Thunder, if I believe so. Either $300 million, I think that they paid for them back in 2007. I think it was they paid for the Seattle Supersonics. So that being said, I want to take this opportunity once again to thank my guys at YNB, family owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. You can pre-qualify online for any loans for cars or commercials, or if you're one of those flippers, go to them and talk to them at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. I want to thank Georgia's Happy Hog for having us back again. Appreciate these guys. If you haven't been to Georgia's Happy Hog, you should. It's well worth it. If you like barbecue, and man, their greens are just off the chart. And there was a lady in here that came down from Claremore, her and her husband, and she was telling me that, she comes down once a month for her treatments for MS, and that they come in here every single time because she likes the cornbread and she likes the greens. And she goes, I like honey on my cornbread. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to try that. I haven't had honey on my cornbread, so I'm going to have to try that. But that was a good suggestion for her. But I mean, hey, I'm open for new things. I'm open to try, so I'll do that. But anyway, like I said, Georgia's Happy Hog, they're just south of the Capitol on Culbertson. And like I said, you can only go east on Culbertson, and you go up the hill. If you try to go west, you go into the Harn Homestead, and then, of course, they're just north of OU Medical Center. So if you want to come by and you want good barbecue, that is the place to do it. I also want to thank my other sponsors. If you have any IT needs for your networks or anything like that, please go to Collaborative Logic and check those out. Russell, like I said, Russell was in here earlier having a little lunch along with this guy, Mark Long from SRB. Any engineering, surveying, or planning that you might have, those guys are great behind-the-scenes guys. And, of course, Oak Grove Trucking, and see my boy Jose Fierro and his dump trucks. Started out with one, and now he has three. Very proud of that young man and what he's doing. And, of course, my guys, Greg and Max Nafee. And then just another thing is that we do have I was trying to look up see what the score was, but it's still let me see, what is it? It's still 5-0 Texas A&M, and remember, the winner of that game will be playing OU tomorrow at 1 o'clock on ESPN. That's OU tomorrow, 1 o'clock on ESPN. And then once again, I want to congratulate Peyton Graham for OU for being the first person since Barry Bonds to have 4 hits and 2 steals in the game, in the MWS game. So anyway, congratulations to Peyton and to the Sooners, and good luck for them tomorrow. And it looks like they'll be playing A&M again, and so hopefully they will have the same result and then make it on to the championship game and do what they need to do there. So good luck to the Sooners. Hope they win. And then, of course, I want to thank everybody for supporting the show today. Remember, stay cool out there. Stay cool. It's kind of chilly. I mean, that was funny. Anyway, it's kind of warm outside, so stay cool if you can.